What can 300 grand buy you in 2025 out here in Oahu, Hawaii? Well, we're gonna look at a couple different parts of the island, show you what it gets you, and also show you some tips on things you wanna look out for that might be a little conniving when you look at that Zillow listing. So make sure you stick around to get all the details. See you on the other side. All right, guys, so like I mentioned in this video, we're gonna show you in 2025 what 300-ish grand can get you out here in Oahu, Hawaii. We're also gonna show you a couple things you wanna look out for so you don't go down this rabbit hole, fall in love with this property, and then realize, oh shoot, it has a high HOA, it's leasehold, it doesn't have a parking spot. Those are three of the things that we're gonna cover that are super important to understand and why. But before we jump into that, let me quickly introduce myself if this is your first time here. My name is Patrick Longley. I'm a licensed real estate agent out here in Hawaii and have been for nearly a decade, helping buyers, sellers, and investors with their real estate needs. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I got my contact information right here, or you can directly DM me on any of my social media platforms. With that being said, let's jump into what you can buy for 300 grand out here in Hawaii and the three things you wanna look out for. So the three things you wanna look out for before you even look at my screen and look at these properties is, number one, does it have a parking spot? A parking spot is very, very valuable. Depending on where you're buying, if you're buying a condo specifically, which is what you're gonna buy for 300 grand out here because the median sales price for a single family home is just over $1.1 million, you're definitely gonna wanna purchase a property that has a parking spot assigned to your unit. Now there's plenty of units out there that sell them without them, but if you're buying a condo, let's say in Waikiki, and you have to drive home after a long day of work, or you just wanna be able to get home and relax, you don't wanna have to be doing circles or worrying about getting a parking ticket trying to park in the city. So it's really important that you find a unit that does have a parking spot or allows you to at least rent one, because you don't wanna be in that situation where every single day you have to battle trying to find a parking spot. Now, on average, if you were to just purchase a parking spot, which some of them are for sale, they can be anywhere between 30 to 50 grand. So you'll see some properties that are maybe really attractive and maybe the price looks really attractive, but just add 30 to 50 grand when it comes to having to purchase a parking spot separately, if that's even an option for you. So just keep that in mind. The second thing you wanna look out for is HOA dues. So again, these have been going up significantly, especially in 2025 because of the insurance issues we've been seeing happening with undercoverage or hurricane insurance. And we've been seeing them going up anywhere between 20 and 90% in just 2025. So you really wanna keep an eye on those HOAs, and you can actually review the condo documents, the finances. This is something that your real estate agent can assist you with, but you wanna see the trajectory of that. What type of projects do they have coming up? Do they have plenty of coverage? Are we gonna see large increases in the coming years? These are all things that your agent can assist you with, but things you wanna look out for, because if you buy a condo and it already has a $1,500 HOA, which some of them do, but you need to keep in mind that that HOA will go up every single year, and you wanna know what the rate that it's generally going up. It used to be 4 to 12%, 4 to 10%, but with these new changes with the insurance, it just went up 20 to 90%. You wanna make sure the following year doesn't do the same thing, because that can dwindle down the appreciation rate, because less buyers are gonna be attracted to a unit that has a $2,000 HOA. The third thing you wanna look out for is these key little words you'll see on there called HHG. This is for basically affordable housing, which you basically can purchase if you qualify. There's certain rules and regulations where basically you can purchase it, but you need to be under making 120 grand a year, I think it is. Also, you need to live in it as your primary residence forever. You can never rent it out. And when you want to sell it, you have to sell it to somebody who also has those same kind of restrictions. So it kind of dwindles down the appreciation rate on that. And sometimes these units will allow you to sell it, but when you sell it, they're actually gonna take a cut of like 20% of whatever money you made from it. So just look for those words, HHG, and we'll see if we can find a listing that shows it so you can see what I'm talking about. And the last thing you wanna look out for, and this is something that I probably have a conversation with somebody once a week about, is leasehold. Now I've made a video right here that goes over it, but I'll quickly summarize it. Leasehold is when you see a property that's oceanfront, freaking 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath for, 85 grand. That's a leasehold property. And what it is basically you own the structure, but you don't own the land. There's a lease that you're renting the land, and there's somebody who actually owns that lease. So you're paying HOAs, you're paying maintenance fees, and then you're also paying a lease as well as what you paid for the property. So it's generally one of the worst investments I can think of, unless of course you're gonna die before that lease is over, or if you can rent it out and cash flow way more than what you're paying to own the property and more than what you actually paid for it. It's a very unique situation. It's a very complicated, and generally I'm just telling you, if you look at a property and it's oceanfront or it's bigger than 400 square feet and under 300 grand, it's probably leasehold. So just look for that keyword if you're on Zillow. Okay, so we covered some of the main things you want to look out for when you're just shopping on Zillow and looking for condos. Let's see what you can actually get for 300 grand and also show you some of those samples that I was discussing and why you want to look out for them. Okay, now let's see if we can find some properties for 300-ish grand out here in Hawaii. So here is the Oahu Island, which we're going to focus on right now. And we'll see that a large portion of those properties in that $300,000 price range are going to be mainly in the Honolulu area, as well as on the west side here. We have a couple here, it looks like in Waipahu, as well as Mililani. So we're going to take a look at some of these and then also take a look at some of those properties I want you guys to look out for. So let's just pick one at random here. Just pick one out here. So the Waikiki area is right here. Let's pick one of these properties here. And let's see if any of these fall into one of those properties where I said you want to look out for. So let's just select one of these. So most of the $300,000 condos are going to be studios and one bedrooms. If you go outside, you may be able to find some larger ones. This is actually one of my buddy's listings. This is actually a really good building. And we can see here that the inside looks like it needs a little bit of work. So you might not be able to find a turnkey property. This is listed just under $350,000, but it does have some opportunity for you to fix it up. It does have an in-unit washer and dryer, and you do have a pool and it looks like a view, which is pretty killer. So that's just an example. And this is pretty spot on with what you can get for this price range out in Waikiki. Let's take a look at one other one. Here's one for $290,000. Now we can see, let's see if this is a fee simple property. It is fee simple, it's not leasehold, which is amazing to see. We can see that it's 420 square feet. Looks like it's been renovated pretty nicely as well. And I think I know this building, Promenade. Yeah, I know that building very well. We can see the HOAs are actually very affordable. So this is actually a good looking one. And actually a really good one when you actually look at what you generally can get. So there are some options out there, but generally this would be, as you can see, it's sold in 11 days. Does it come with a parking spot? Okay, so there's the main part, right? So this was one of the things I was telling you guys is that you'll see some pretty attractive properties like this one, but when it doesn't come with the parking spot, if this came with a parking spot, I guarantee this would be closer to at least $350,000. Maybe $330,000, $350,000 for something of this size that's been renovated. That parking spot really does hold a lot of value. Let's step outside of Waikiki and see if we see anything change in regards to pricing and square footage. So we can see this one, $430,000, $330,000, comes with the parking spot. This one's gonna be just outside of Waikiki proper. And we can see that it has been renovated. Cabinets are not brand new, but not super old. Luxury vinyl plank. It's, I believe, 450 something square feet. We do have those original jalousie windows. And it's a pretty cute unit. And it does have that assigned parking spot. The HOAs here are $579. Again, those are pretty attractive HOAs. Generally, the average for these HOAs for a studio or one bedroom are generally going to be between $500 and $800 with these new increases that we've been seeing recently. Now let's take a look at the Mililani area. Now this area is going to have a little bit more rain. It's going to be the furthest point from the beach, but it is very family friendly. Let's take a look at what options we have in here. So look at this. This is $340 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So you can see that the square footage and the bedroom count has gone up significantly. We do see a large density of homes in Waikiki in this price range. This is a little bit of an outlier. I'm trying to see what the catch is because this seems like a smoking price. Yeah, not too much of a catch other than it has community laundry. Let's take a look at the inside. See what it looks like on the inside. Interesting design here. I like the theme they're going for. But not too many photos, but nonetheless, this looks like a really good opportunity, which is why it's sold in 11 days for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And the HOAs are pretty reasonable for a 2-bedroom. So this is actually looks like a pretty good deal. But as we zoom out, you'll see that there isn't a lot in Mililani at that price point. compared to, you can see here, not that too many options, but compared to, out here, this is where you're gonna see the large density of those 300-ish condos. Now, another option where you'll generally see some very low priced ones, as you can see, this 1 bedroom, 1 bath for $150. Let's see if this is a leasehold property. No, this is a fee simple property. It doesn't have a parking spot. And we can see that it's listed or sold for $141, was listed at $172. But here's the big kicker, right? And this is what I'm talking about, value slowly going down as HOAs go up. The west side tends to be a little bit more affordable than other parts of the island, but we can see that the HOA is pretty high. Let's take a look at the inside if they've got any photos. This one looks like it needed a lot of work as well, but 150 grand for a condo in Hawaii is pretty killer, but you just really got to watch out for that HOA, and we can see it doesn't have a parking spot. Now, the last thing I want you guys to look out for is those leasehold properties. So let's take a look at these leasehold properties that you can find, and there's a fair amount of them out here, especially in the Waikiki area. So just to show you an example here, let's see if we can find a good one. Okay, here's a great example, 190 grand. In Waikiki, which is unheard of for fee simple. We can see it's leasehold. Let's take a look at this property. You've got looks like a pretty killer ocean view. You're right by the beach, some great amenities and community laundry, and it's 529 square feet. It's been on the market for 132 days. Why is that for under 200 grand? Well, that's gonna be because it's got a total monthly fee of HOAs, which includes cable TV, hot water, internet, which is actually a lot. Usually it's only sewer, water, and trash. We can see that the lease is up, it looks like in 2034, so in 10 years, and you have to pay an additional $539 a month. So you're paying $838 plus $539 a month. And generally you can only buy these leasehold properties all cash. As you can see down here, what's acceptable, cash. So again, this might be a good property for somebody who's really looking for lifestyle, who thinks that they're going to outlive that lease, because basically when that lease is up, the lessee can give you the option to renegotiate what this lease is going to be and how long it's going to go, which most likely it'll go up. But as that lease gets shorter, the value of this property will go down. We can see if they ever tried to sell it in the past. You can see here they've been trying to sell it since 2022, and just slowly as time goes by, they bought it for $245 in 2017, and we can see that this is an asset that depreciates opposed to appreciating, which is generally what we see in Hawaii. But when you attach leasehold to it, the value goes down. So just something you want to look out for. And it looks like it doesn't have a parking spot as well. So this is the triple banger that you got to be careful when you're looking at these properties with an ocean view under 200, 300 grand. You got to look out for that leasehold, and then also the parking spot, the HOAs, and a handful of other things. So that in a nutshell, can you buy a property for 300-ish grand out here? Absolutely. There's just certain things you want to look out for to make sure that you are getting a good investment and you're setting yourself up for success, and that you're not going down a rabbit hole looking at leasehold properties that are not really going to be the best investment in my professional opinion. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up, guys. That shows you what you can get on different sides of the island for 300-ish grand. If you guys have any questions and want me to build you a list that fulfills your needs and wants, feel free to reach out to me. I got my contact information right here, or you can directly DM me on any of my social media platforms. With that being said, I'm Patrick with PatrickLongRealty.com, powered by eXp Realty. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Aloha.